At age 61, Melissa Gilbert has finally shared her honest thoughts about Melissa Sue Anderson, revealing truths that fans of Little House on the Prairie have waited decades to hear. Melissa Gilbert came into the world on May 8, 1964, in Los Angeles, California, the beating heart of the entertainment industry where dreams are made and stars are born. Her birth parents were David Darlington and Kathy Wood, two young people facing circumstances that would change the course of their daughter's life forever. When she was born, her biological parents were struggling financially and weren't sure they could give their child the stable life she deserved. The decision they faced was one of the most difficult any parent could imagine, yet it would ultimately open doors to a world of opportunity that might otherwise have remained closed. Understanding their situation and wanting what was best for their baby girl, they chose to put Melissa up for adoption. This loving choice early in her life would eventually lead her into the world of entertainment. Just one day after Melissa was born, she was adopted by Paul Gilbert and his wife Barbara Crane, who are both actors with deep roots in the entertainment world. Paul Gilbert had been working as an actor for many years, bringing experience and knowledge of the industry to his role as a father, and Barbara Crane was both an actress and a skilled dancer who understood the dedication required to succeed in show business. Barbara's father was Harry Crane, a famous comedy writer whose work helped create some of television's most unforgettable moments during the golden age of TV. Being raised in this kind of household meant that Melissa grew up surrounded by the arts, with creativity, performing, and Hollywood's demanding lifestyle all around her from day one. Dinner table conversations likely revolved around scripts, performances, and the ins and outs of the entertainment business, giving young Melissa an education that few children ever receive. When Melissa was 8 years old, her adoptive parents divorced, which certainly affected her during those important growing-up years. Barbara later got married to Harold Abels, but that marriage also ended in divorce. Through this second marriage, Melissa got a half-sister named Sarah Rebecca Abels, who was born on January 29, 1975. Sarah would later use the stage name Sarah Gilbert and build her own successful TV career, becoming well known for her role on Roseanne. In a heartbreaking turn of events, Melissa's adoptive father Paul Gilbert died on February 13, 1976, after having a stroke. This meant young Melissa had to face life's challenges without him. Even with these difficult personal experiences, she was brought up following Jewish religious traditions and participating in its practices and values, although she never went through a formal conversion. This spiritual upbringing became just one of the many important parts of her diverse childhood. Melissa showed remarkable talent as a performer from a very early age. Her natural gifts, combined with her adoptive parents' Hollywood careers, meant she got early experience in acting and entertainment. She started working in TV commercials, with one of her first being for Alpo Dog Food, where she worked with the legendary actor Lorne Greene. These early opportunities helped her develop her skills and taught her how tough and competitive the entertainment business could be. The biggest break in Melissa's career happened when she was chosen to play Laura Ingalls Wilder, the second oldest daughter of Charles Ingalls, played by Michael Landon, in the NBC show Little House on the Prairie. More than 500 children tried out for this role, making it an extremely competitive casting process that tested not only acting ability, but also the capacity to embody the spirit of a beloved literary character. In the end, Melissa won the part because of her natural appeal, hard work, and strong screen presence that immediately captured the attention of producers and directors. As an interesting side note, she found out she got the role from Leslie Landon, who was Michael Landon's daughter and went to the same school as Melissa, a moment that must have been both exciting and surreal for the young actress. Her brother, Jonathan Gilbert, also joined the show, playing the character Willie Olson, making the experience even more special as she could share this incredible journey with family. They started filming in 1973, and the show ran from 1974 to 1983, spanning 9 seasons that would define a generation's understanding of American pioneer life. As the years went by, this historical drama became incredibly popular with viewers of every age, touching hearts across America and around the world with its wholesome stories of family, perseverance, and moral values. Melissa's performance as Laura made fans fall in love with her, turning her into a famous name across America and establishing her as one of television's most beloved child stars. The show tackled important themes like poverty, prejudice, faith, and family bonds, with Melissa's character often at the center of these meaningful storylines that resonated deeply with audiences. Even though Little House on the Prairie was the foundation of her early career, Melissa also branched out into movies and kept building her television work. She took on important roles in well-respected productions like The Miracle Worker in 1979, The Diary of Anne Frank in 1980, Splendor in the Grass in 1981, and Choices of the Heart in 1983, where she played the humanitarian Jean Donovan. As she got older, she moved into more grown-up roles, appearing in projects like Choices in 1986 and A Family of Strangers in 1993. Besides acting in live-action shows, she also did voice work for animated shows, most famously voicing Batgirl in Batman the Animated Series throughout the 1990s. In 1996, she showed up in 3 episodes of Babylon 5, playing Anna Sheridan, working with her husband at that time, Bruce Boxlightener. Melissa's career wasn't without its difficulties and projects that didn't succeed as she had hoped. She experienced disappointments with productions like Little House: A New Beginning in 1982, Stand By Your Man in 1992, and Sweet Justice in 1994, learning valuable lessons from each setback about the unpredictable nature of the entertainment industry. Still, she kept going, continuing to take on many different kinds of roles with a determination that spoke to her resilience and passion for her craft. In 2006, she appeared on the TV series Nip Tuck as Cher Noble, a patient getting a delicate cosmetic procedure, showing she was willing to take on unusual and mature content that challenged her as an actress and pushed her out of her comfort zone. Along with her work on screen, Melissa went back to her Little House on the Prairie roots in a theater setting. From 2008 to 2009, she played Caroline, Ma, in a musical version of the series that was directed by Francesca Zambello. The show opened at the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis and went on a tour across the country, ending at the Starlight Theater in Kansas City, Missouri, in June 2010. This experience let her connect with audiences again through live performances, proving her lasting commitment to the story that had been such a big part of her life. In 2009, Melissa also wrote about her personal and work experiences in her autobiography called A Prairie Tale, a memoir, giving her fans a close-up view of her time in Hollywood, her family experiences, and how she grew as both an actor and a person. She kept acting in different projects, including The Christmas Pageant in 2011, and tried her hand at dancing by competing in the 14th season of Dancing with the Stars in 2012, where she was paired with professional dancer Maxim Shmerkovsky. She gave impressive performances and was finally eliminated on her birthday during the 8th episode, showing strength, elegance, and a competitive attitude throughout. Melissa's goals went beyond just entertainment, extending into the realm of public service and civic engagement. On August 10, 2015, she said she would run for the United States House of Representatives from Michigan's 8th Congressional District in the 2016 elections, hoping to bring her voice and values to Washington and make a difference in the lives of everyday Americans. However, she ended up dropping out of the race because of health problems related to a spinal injury that made the physical demands of campaigning impossible to manage. Besides acting and trying to serve the public, she also became a producer and director, starting her own production company called Half Pint Productions, a name that paid homage to her famous Little House on the Prairie character's nickname. This allowed her to have creative control over projects and support the work of other artists, giving back to an industry that had given her so much. Melissa Gilbert's personal life has been deeply connected to her relationships, especially her marriages, which showed different stages of her life and personal growth. Her first marriage was to actor Brinkman in 1988.
Brinkman, who was known for his television and theater work, became a significant person in Melissa's life during an important time in her adult years as she was moving from being a child star to a grown-up actress, finding her way in Hollywood and discovering who she really was. Their marriage had its problems, which often happens when both people have demanding careers that need lots of time and public attention. After being married for 6 years, they decided to separate and finalize their divorce in 1994. Even though their relationship didn't last, it was an important time in Melissa's journey of learning what she wanted in a partner and in her life. Melissa's second marriage happened soon after, when she married Bruce Boxlightener in 1995. Boxlightener, a well-known actor famous for his roles in science fiction TV shows like Babylon 5 and Scarecrow and Mrs. King, had a deep connection with Melissa, both in their work and personally. Their marriage lasted 16 years, during which they dealt with the challenges of combining families, careers, and being in the public eye. Together they were a very visible Hollywood couple, helping each other with their acting work and personal projects. Even though they respected each other and had shared experiences, the marriage eventually ended in 2011. Their divorce showed how hard it can be to keep a long-term relationship going when you're in the public eye, where career pressures, family duties, and personal growth can put stress on even the strongest relationships. In 2013, Melissa fell in love again when she married Timothy Busfield, a talented actor and director known for his work on shows like The West Wing and 30-something. This marriage was a more steady and mature time in her life, representing a turning point where she finally found the partnership she had been searching for. By then, Melissa had gained a lot of life experience and understood herself and what she needed much better than in her earlier marriages, having learned from both the successes and the failures of her past relationships. Timothy, with his relaxed personality and creative background, balanced out Melissa's energy and artistic nature, creating a partnership based on respect, friendship, and shared beliefs. Their marriage has been marked by strong emotional support, working together, and a sense of partnership that shows the lessons Melissa learned from her previous relationships, proof that sometimes the third time really is the charm when it comes to finding lasting love.
At 61, Melissa Gilbert finally opened up in an honest and very personal way about her relationship with her longtime Little House on the Prairie co-star, Melissa Sue Anderson, sharing details that fans had wondered about for years but never fully knew. In interviews, Gilbert talked openly, explaining that the relationship she had with Anderson was complicated, had many layers, and was sometimes difficult. "We had a connection from the very beginning," Gilbert said. "Being on Little House on the Prairie when we were so young, we were put into a world of fame and close attention, and that creates a special kind of friendship, but it wasn't always easy." Her words suggest how intense it was to grow up in front of cameras and the pressures that often come with being a child star. Gilbert went into more detail, saying that while their characters on screen showed perfect family and friend relationships, the real situation behind the scenes was much more complicated. "People saw us as perfect little girls with perfect lives, but the reality is we were just kids trying to navigate a very unusual environment," she said. Melissa Gilbert also thought about the natural changes that time brings to relationships. She talked about how their friendship evolved, mentioning that as they got older, both she and Anderson dealt with their own personal struggles, career difficulties, and times of discovering themselves. "We each had our own paths," Gilbert said. "Sometimes those paths went in different directions, and that's normal. You can care deeply about someone and still need to find yourself separate from them." Gilbert's honesty shows a grown-up understanding of how relationships can change, especially ones that started under such unusual circumstances. She stressed that there was never any hostility or bad feelings between them, but rather an understanding that growing up together in the spotlight creates a special bond that doesn't always fit normal friendship patterns. Throughout her reflection, Gilbert showed enormous respect and appreciation for Anderson's abilities and character. "Melissa Sue was one of the most genuine, talented people I've ever known," she said. "Working with her taught me so much about being professional, being patient, and the strength that comes from being quietly strong."
Gilbert remembered times on set when Anderson's commitment and concentration inspired her to work harder both as an actress and as a person. She also talked about the friendship they had with other cast members, describing the family-like feeling that grew among the actors, crew, and producers. However, she didn't avoid saying that the demanding schedule, long work hours, and public attention could also make small problems bigger. Being watched all the time as a child changes you, Gilbert said. There were times of jealousy, confusion, and feeling unsure, but that's part of growing up in a world that doesn't let you just be a kid. Gilbert continued by explaining why she decided now, at 61, to finally speak so openly. "I think getting older gives you a better view of things," she said. "When you're young, you hold on to feelings and opinions in ways that can twist reality. Now I can look back and see everything clearly. I can value our shared history, all the good moments and the difficult ones, without needing to defend myself or explain to anyone." Her words connect with many people who have followed her career, showing a vulnerability and deep thinking that feels both relatable and very human. It's obvious that Gilbert's choice to talk about Anderson now isn't meant to bring up old problems or relive past conflicts, but to respect the complexity of a lifelong connection that has influenced both women's lives. Finally, Gilbert's comments remind fans that relationships that form during childhood, especially under the bright lights of fame, are often misunderstood by the public. People think that just because you work together on a show, you're automatically best friends forever. But friendship isn't just about circumstances. It's about how well you get along, timing, and experiences you share. Melissa Sue and I shared some of the most important years of our lives together, and that connection will always be there, even if it looks different now than it did back then. Gilbert's thoughts are a touching reminder of the lasting effect of early experiences, the strength needed to handle public life, and the complex truths behind the seemingly perfect picture of childhood fame. Her honesty is a tribute not just to Anderson, but to the many friendships that grow, change, and last in ways that may not always be visible to people watching from the outside. Today, Melissa Gilbert continues to be an inspiration to many, showing that life's journey is never simple or straightforward. Her willingness to speak honestly about her past, her relationships, and the challenges she faced along the way proves that real strength comes from being truthful about who you are. From her early days as Laura on Little House on the Prairie to her life now as a wife, author, producer, and public figure, Melissa has shown time and again that growth, change, and self-discovery are lifelong processes. Her story reminds us all that the relationships we form, especially during our younger years, shape us in ways we may not fully understand until we look back with the wisdom that only time can bring. What did you think about Melissa Gilbert's honest reflections on her relationship with Melissa Sue Anderson? Did her story of growing up in the spotlight surprise you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on childhood fame and the lasting friendships that come from it. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories about the lives of your favorite stars. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and let us know in the comments which celebrity's untold story you'd like us to cover next.